Throughout our country, on the federal, state, and local levels around the world, there are many corporations, union officials, and their members that are linked to a network of organized crime. These organizations, known as the New World Order, are using directed energy weapons through their misuse of microwave, medical implants, and the various ultrasonic and infrasonic technologies to gain control of our global population. By silent, torturous methods of these technologies in violation of national and international laws. Our mission, to investigate, identify, and expose these entities and to bring them to justice. Please watch our continuing series.
For thousands of years, the way in which you've killed someone is you have hit them with a sword, a spear, an arrow, a bullet, a bomb. It's kinetic. You're killing them by hitting them. And now, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you have a completely new physical principle being applied in killing people, in which they don't know that they're being killed because their skin and body is being heated by high-power microwaves, or they are being shot at by a laser, which would have an instantaneous effect.
It was 2003, and there was some kind of box on their tank with a blue light like this. From the survivors, that they said they did not hear any noise. So there was no explosion to hear, no metal fragments or shrapnels or bullets in the bodies. So they themselves were thinking of some strange kinds of weapon which...
It's like lasers.
Do you have idea with what kind of weapons?
Laser weapons. We try to learn more about it by asking for interviews to members of companies manufacturing laser and microwave weapons. Yet, the U.S. Defense Department prevented any information from being released to us. And the questions from the press about direct energy and microwave weapons made them visibly uncomfortable.
Mr. Secretary, can I ask you a question about some of the technology that you're developing to fight the war on terror, specifically directed energy and high-powered microwave technology? When do you envision that you can weaponize that type of technology?
It is in, for the most part, the kinds of things you're talking about are in very early stages. Do you want to give anything you add?
I don't think I would add much. I think they are in early stages and probably not ready for employment at this point.
In the normal order of things, when you invest in research and development and begin a developmental project, you don't have any intention or expectations that one would use it. On the other hand, the real world intervenes from time to time, and you reach in there and take something out that is still in a developmental stage, and you might use it. So your question is not answerable. It depends on what happens in the future and how well things move along the track, and whether or not someone feels it's appropriate to reach into a development stage and see if something might be useful, as was the case with the unmanned aerial vehicles.
But you sound like you're willing to experiment.
I think that's the point, and I think, and we have, I think, from the beginning of this conflict, I think General Franks has been very open to looking at new things if there are new things available, and has been willing to put them into the fight even before they've been fully wrung out. And I think that's not referring to these two particular cases of directed energy or high-powered microwave, but sure. And
yes.
We will continue to do that.
What is meant by direct energy microwave?
The research and certainly the concepts for direct energy weapons go back many decades. That the technology has now advanced sufficiently that we're starting to see the weapons come into fruition. In other words, they're becoming real. And basically what they do is they are known as speed of light because they shoot electrons very fast over very long distances. Lasers, of course, are in the light range. Then there's microwave weapons that are operating at other frequencies. But basically they're beam weapons in which nothing physical goes out. The electrons move, but the kinetic weapons you talk about, you're shooting big bullets to go out and physically hit and destroy something. These work because the energy is disposed on the target and causes some effect.
we see the laser beam identify and destroy two missiles at the same time.
Some are visible, some are, just outside. You have, in the infrared range. What's emerging now are laser weapons, where the effect is that of the laser. And they can be hole burners, what we call very high energy lasers, because with the concentrated energy, you can literally drill holes, in a target.
Triggered by an impulse of energy that manages to bore through the armor of a tank. Use of direct energy weapons.
So right now, you have about $50 million a year being spent on non-lethal weapons. You have about another $200 million or so being spent on high-power microwave, active denial type systems. You've got probably another 100 to 200 million being spent on secret, black laser programs. And then you've got the big lasers, the high-energy laser of the Air Force and the other tactical lasers. So probably, well, when you add all of that up, the United States is probably spending $500 million a year right now on directed energy weapons. Probably somewhere in the order of 300, 400 million euros. So this is a significant amount of money. This is the size of the defense budgets of some countries in Europe.
One particular weapon called the active denial system, better known as the pain ray, has been built specifically for use in maintaining public order. Given its claim to be non-lethal and the suffering it produces, this weapon could become a...
The active denial system is a millimeter wave system, operates about 93 gigahertz, sends out a beam for a very long distance. And what's important about it is that when it hits the skin, a very slight, a few millimeters into the skin, and it hits the pain receptors and causes, people to be averse to the pain. It hurts a lot.
How long can you...
The tests that have been run, they were to go to 3 seconds. Each individual was given a kill switch. Nobody made 3 seconds. The onset of pain is extremely rapid. And you don't have to do it very long. I mean, it gets your attention instantly.
Of the offices of Human Rights Watch.
We can see the effects of a gun very easily and understand them. But when you cannot see the effects of a weapon because it is not visible and because the science is not very well understood because it's so new, then it becomes of grave concern to us and raises the stakes for potential human rights violations and abuses. Pain is induced upon the people. And that's what we have to understand about the active denial system, that it exists to create pain. And that's very different than most other non-lethal weapons, where the desire is to either immobilize someone or make it so that they cannot walk in an area. And we have to be very careful because in international law it's very clear that devices created solely for the creation of pain can eventually lead to torture and are therefore illegal. And it's very critical that the United States does a careful legal review of and is open with their findings. To date, they have not been open.
Some people say, acoustic weapons or high-power microwave weapons, the active denial system, we can use it for crowd control. Well, crowd control, what does that mean? Carefully calibrated at a power level and an intensity and a range to affect all these 18-year-old men in the crowd. Well, what crowd is made up of just 18-year-old men? Look at the Intifada. Look at any riot in Iraq today. Children, women, pregnant women, old people.
There's been a lot of discussion also about the potential for eye damage, that in fact they have done some tests on the skin. Where is the eye test? And that there have been concerns raised by scientists about potential harm to the eyes.
I think the battlefields are going to be in urban areas.
And if you look at the active denial system or the high-power microwaves or the LRAD, the acoustic weapon, what you see is enthusiasm for those are being displayed by U.S. Northern Command, which is the Homeland Defense Command, or other